IFFKയിൽ ഏറെ ശ്രദ്ധ നേടിയ ചിത്രമാണ് ഫ്ലെയിംസ്. ഇന്ത്യൻ യാഥാർത്ഥ്യങ്ങൾക്കു നേരെ തുറന്നുവെച്ച ഒരു കണ്ണാടിയായിരുന്നു ഈ ചിത്രം. കേന്ദ്രം അനുമതി നിഷേധിച്ച ചിത്രങ്ങളുടെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ഫ്ലെയിംസുമുണ്ട്. ഈ സിനിമയുടെ സംവിധായകൻ രവിശങ്കർ കൗശിക്കും പ്രൊഡ്യൂസർ സുവർൺ വർമ്മയുമാണ് ഇന്ന് കൈരളിയോടൊപ്പം ചേരുന്നത്. ഫ്ലെയിംസിന്റെ വിശേഷങ്ങളും IFFK അനുഭവങ്ങളും അവർ നമ്മളോട് ഇന്ന് പങ്കുവയ്ക്കും. Your film Flames seems to be burning bright at IFFK. What do you think?
Well, we are really grateful to the Indian Film Festival of Kerala for giving us this opportunity. This is my debut feature, and to be premiering at the prestigious festival means a whole lot to the team. So, really glad the audience has been very engaging in the screening, and we're looking forward to the subsequent screenings that are going to happen.
As a producer, what is your thought?
Honestly, it's a great honor. Some of the best Indian films come out of this state. And to have Ravi's film, our film, being screened out here to an audience of, international filmmakers and, avid Indian movie watchers, it's a great experience.
Flames being selected for IFFK, what did that recognition mean for you?
So, yeah, as I just said, I mean, this is the premier festival in our country. And, I earlier had my short film at IDSFFK, and to now be graduating and kind of becoming, bringing my first film here means a whole lot. Also, the kind of films that we have been selected alongside, films that have premiered in Venice, Busan, and, have gained worldwide recognition. Even us, we premiered at Jogja Netpack Festival earlier in Indonesia. So from there on to come here and premiere here and show to the audience here means a whole lot. So we're really happy with it.
Talking about the movie, The Flame is about lower caste in India which are still exploited and persecuted, and how that treatment eventually leads to violence. What was the initial spark that led to the writing and directing of this film?
So for me, the initial thought stemmed from a father-son relationship, and the thought of how, to what extent would a parent go to protect their offspring. And I come from the state of Haryana, and so I was very sure of where the film was going to be shot. Now, when I'm shooting a film there, the subtext of the location where we are making the film is bound to seep into the screenplay, and that's where then the angle of a subtextual casteism that still exists in a day-to-day conversation comes through. And so while the film is not about casteism, but it tells the story of a family which is dealing with the hardships that stem from casteism that still exist, and the exploitation that still exists because of that. So that was where the film stems from. Yeah.
Do you see Flames as a political story, a human story, or both?
No, I think, as I said, Flames for me is a personal human story. It's a story of resilience. It's a story of fight for dignity. But I think any film in its nature is political in one way or the other. I've tried to show a very rooted, authentic film set in Haryana. So the realities of the life being lived there is bound to come through. So while it tackles and shows subtextually the politics of the place, but I would not call it a political film. To me, it will remain a story about a father-son's bond and how they are dealing with the tragedy and the loss that they faced in their life.
Sirfek Banda, Hug, Flames, you are backing films that are so many dire to take in the current Indian political situation.
Well, I mean, fact is this, that when you do a film or any work of art with honesty, then the timing doesn't matter. And you cannot live in fear, you cannot create in fear. And the fact is this, that the honesty percolates through. As Ravi rightly said, everything in life is political, right? Whether you make a love story, it's political. Wherever there is power of any kind, or there's a disbalance of power, that becomes politics. So that's separate. But we are telling powerful emotional dramas, where here it's a story of a father, where Haq was a story of a woman fighting for her rights, where Banda was a story of a small town lawyer trying to get justice for the first case under POSCO. So these are very fundamental issues that we have addressed, and I think every country, every government would back films like this.
As producers, you often have to choose between safe commercial bets and risky independent voices. How difficult it is to secure a theatrical or festival footprint for a rooted independent film like Flames?
So here's the thing, right? India's always been about having massive blockbusters from the beginning. Cinema by nature is a business. You put in money, you get back money, right? That's how the fundamentals of business work. Flames is also not just a work of art, it is a film meant to entertain, at the same time make money back for its investors. I don't think we as producers are running a charity organization where we are making, films for the sake of it. But when you make a film like Flames, you work within a certain budget, knowing the constraints of the kind of audience it's going to get. And then we go around making sure it gets the highest visibility possible across the country, as well as recoup back its investment. So those are things, as smart producers, we have all kind of put in an effort and marketing around to ensure it reaches the widest possible audience and we make our money back, which I think we've been successful in doing so.
The title Flame is metaphorical. What does that signify for you?
There were two aspects to it. One is the metaphorical aspect. For me, I wanted to showcase how the characters in the film are engulfed in flames of different kind, flames of exploitation, flames of tragedy, flames of anger, and each character that you see, it's I'm telling a story of a broken family. So I did not want it to focus only on one specific character, and that's where the intent to name it Flames comes through from. There's also a literal reference to the film. Once the audience sees the film, they'll get more literal presence of the film, where while on one hand, the flames also give you warmth on a cold winter night, but the same flames can also be utilized to to do destruction around us. So those were the two intents I wanted to cater to. Yeah.
Why did you choose this particular social and geographical setting for the story?
So I come from Haryana. The place where we shot it, these are villages called Jatoli and Lohari in Haryana, very near Patodi. And my mother comes from the village where we shot at. So I've been very familiar with that locale and the kind of the dynamics around that place. So hence it was important for me that I go back to the place where I know since childhood, and that's where I was very sure I was going to set the film in Haryana as a start from there. Yeah.
The audience are praising its sound, visuals, and editing and all. Tell me about the crew, cast, and all that.
Sure. So Vikram Kochar, he's the lead actor in the film. Everybody else that you see, most of it, they were all cast from the village where we shot at. They're all known actors facing the camera for the first
You
time.
deliberately.
Yes, yes. I wanted to keep the film as rooted in that place. Anybody who's speaking any dialect is something that they speak on a day-to-day conversation. I did not want to take people out from that environment, and that was really important to me. And I'm really thankful to the team, Anshul Unyal, my DOP, Yatrik and Amit, who did the sound design. I think they've done fantabulous work. And Advait, who did the music, of course. So, yeah, I mean, it's a team film, as I think even Suparn would agree. Any film, I mean, director is leading the team ahead, but it's very dependent on, of course, the team doing great work. And I'm really happy with the work that has been done by them.
Your film portrays a ground reality of India that may not be always comfortable with those who are in power. So, do you think filmmakers who depict such realities face any kind of pressure or any threat?
See, here's the thing. I think we have had, luckily, a very generous run at screenings so far, and I don't think foresee any issues happening possible in the future, because the intent of a filmmaker matters the most. We are not here to generate controversy. Will you get uncomfortable? But that's by the very nature of art. Art should stir debates, should stir conversation, should stir uncomfortable questions and shed light on realities that exist, so that we can transform, that we can emerge. And when that's the intent, there never really is an issue. And I'm not really being an optimist. I think it's how we navigate life, which is smartly and honestly.
So, in current Indian scenario, the authority or the government is using censorship or the certification as a weapon.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Censorship has existed since the time India got independence.
Yeah.
Censorship is nothing new. Films have been censored across decades, across governments, And censorship as a rule is mandated by the very framework of the laws that govern this nation. We as law-abiding citizens have to abide by those laws, and this is not something in 2025 or 2020 or 14 or 10 or 9 or 2002 or 1990 or 80 or 70. Censorship has always existed. Films have been censored in the past as well. Films have been banned in the past as well. So, in fact, these days, in the last, couple of decades, censorship has relaxed much more. Ratings have come in. We have seen a sea change happening in cinema, in the language of cinema, with OTT coming in. We have many more open ideas. The language has got more colorful, and we see a much more, independent and, I would say, colorful range of language displayed in cinema without censorship. And I think the censors also are people in society who realize that adults, if they can vote, if they can pay income tax, they know how to watch a film as well. So they are being extremely, lenient when it comes to certain things. Some films or some shows face censorship, and each, I think, film has its own journey. We can only speak for ourselves, and we have been fortunate. So yeah.
The protagonist of the story is mostly very silent. What is that a challenge to the storytelling?
No, the protagonist is mute in the film. He can't talk. And for me, the decision to do that was one metaphorical. I wanted to showcase and represent people and the communities who do not have a voice out there against the power that we. But also, it was a challenge that I wanted to take as a filmmaker because I like films which are not relying on heavy dialogues. For me, visual and audio-based storytelling is something that really excites me. That's what I wanted to explore. It was challenging. It was challenging to work with non-actors as well. But I think, again, kudos to being backed by the right people, by supported by the right team. Vikram did a great job. And the challenge was to how to communicate without saying. And that's what I wanted to tackle. And I think hopefully I've tackled it well for the audience to like the film. Yeah.
Okay. If there any interpretation that surprised you during IFFK?
Not yet actually. I've been very surprised. In fact, as mentioned, we were earlier screening in Indonesia. The people who do not necessarily have the context of the film, of the place where we shot it, but for them also to be teary-eyed when the film ends means they are connecting to the emotional core of parenthood, of survival, which is universal in nature. So hence, like I think I'm again very grateful also, and Kerala has I think the best audience in a way where I think they are catching the things that as a filmmaker you intend the audience to catch. So I'm really happy that that has been getting conveyed to them.
What conversation do you hope the film sparks to the Indian audience? Not only in IFFK?
Yes, absolutely. So my point has been, it's a story of a family, but a story of resilience. So what I would want an audience to take from it is empathy, is for people who might not have the voice to still carry that sense of resiliency within them. And also I wanted to ensure that while we might have a lot of other films come through which might want or not want, it's up to the filmmaker what kind of lens do they want to show rural India with. I wanted to make sure that the current set of exploitation are still out there and to be seen, so it's not something we kind of brush it under the carpet. So I wanted to tackle that reality in the film as well.
As a first-time feature director, what did Flames teach you?
Oh, it taught me a lot. When I mean,
teaching,
yeah, exactly. It's still teaching me. I think it's still a journey to go, and but I think during the process, it taught me that how important it is have to be around the right people, have the right team with you, backing you, your creative vision. I'm really grateful for Suparn to be backing me, for my other producers to be backing me, Shivam Gupta who's really backed, and others like the producers that have really backed me. I'm really grateful for all the support I'm getting. One thing that it did surprise me as a filmmaker, though I always thought I would not like to work with kids or old people in my first film. I ended up doing exactly that, and that too people who are not actors. So for me, it was they helped me break my own myth around it, that we can work through that. So yeah, it was really exciting to work with them. It was very fulfilling, creatively very satisfying to actually go through that whole process of making the film. Yeah.
I think more of a producer, you are a mentor to him.
Absolutely.
I'm more of a friend to him. And I think that's my job is to protect Ravi's vision, to enable it and be there for him in any way that he needs me.
You see the journey of this film.
Yes. I mean, I've seen the journey of him. It's just begun. We have a whole year left
Yeah.
traveling with this film in film festivals, as well as kind of taking it to theaters and post that. I mean, a filmmaker's journey doesn't end when the film gets made. I mean, it's a completely new journey that's just started right now. So it's a long one.
What advice do you give to the young filmmakers?
No, actually, I think that's a question more for Suparn, really. to answer.
I'm still a young filmmaker, so I don't know what to do. But I can tell you my motto or our motto is to, in the famous words of Nike, just do it.
What do you have to say about IFFK, the 30th IFFK?
No, so I have. This is my first time at the festival. I've attended other festivals. Unfortunately, I hadn't been able to travel this far for to watch the films. But I mean, our first screening was at 9:30 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday. I wasn't expecting there to be people in the screening enough. It was a single screen theater, Kala Bhavan, where we screened, and I think about 85 to 90% of the theater seats were taken. Very pleasantly surprised, and again thankful to the organizers and to the audience, of course, to show up in that number. So really happy with all the support we have here.
This is my first time in IFK, and honestly, to be in a cinema literate and the most literate state in all of India, it's an absolute pleasure. The kind of films, the kind of audience and filmmakers out here, it's absolute joy.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Thank you so much.